for coming out. Stillwater, you guys are awesome. Happy to see some smiling faces. We intend to keep them that way, all right? Now, my name is Shank, and just right off the bat, I want to tell you guys, I am not a youth minister. I've been told I look like a youth minister, you know? I can't help it. I mean, that's just a byproduct of growing up here in Oklahoma. People have told me I look wholesome, like someone who would wear a purity ring even after getting married. But anyway, I'm from Oklahoma. Anyone else? Okies? Yeah, you better admit to that. Damn right. I know I'm from the South. This is a southern, kind of Midwest southern state. There's a lot of southern in my background, you know. I was on Ancestry.com recently. I was like digging around into the family tree. And the further back I went, the more I looked like people at Wal-Mart. That's my heritage, you know? It's kind of weird. Like now when I go to Walmart, I feel like I'm at an extended family reunion. Right? You know the kind where you feel like you got to get high so you don't feel out of place. Feel guilty for checking out the women. You know what I mean. No, I don't want to trash Walmart. I really don't, because I shop there all the time. I absolutely love Walmart. It's the only place I know of where you can get a haircut, a pedicure, and a gun all at the same time. I walk out of that store, Tarantino film ready. I like the idea of the door greeter too, you know? I just feel like they could take more opportunity there, you know? I like it when they welcome you in, it's so inviting, but I feel like they'd be like, hi, welcome to Walmart, and then they hand you a bag of popcorn, enjoy the show. It's distracting, is it not? I mean, here's the thing, I was looking for deodorant the other day, right? And there's this guy coming down the aisle, and at first I saw the Crocs being held together by 6 layers of duct tape. And then he had the hula hoop earlobe stretched out thing, right?
That's my neighbor.
And he also had like a Confederate flag on the inside.
Oh, that's another neighbor.
That's your other neighbor. Oh man, I was so distracted I just forgot what I was in there for and I left. If I had a bag of popcorn, I would have been empty-handed, that's all I'm saying. This is gonna be a little delicate, and I apologize I'd offend you, but if you've ever shopped at Walmart, you know it's true. I love the fact that they're progressive, and it's the only place I've ever been where you find a handicapped parking spot that also reads Employee of the Month. I told you, I warned you. You're like, I've been there. I'll get off Walmart. I got kids, so this is awesome for me to be at a fundraiser for a children's museum. Thank you so much, guys, for your generosity in supporting the Wonderatorium here in Stillwater. I got 3 kids, and I have a youngest boy. He loves the film Cinderella, the cartoon version, right? And I get kind of a hard time from my brother-in-law, because he has 2 boys also, they're grown, and he's like, I never let my kids watch the princess cartoons. And I was like, whatever, right? So I asked my little boy, I was like, why do you like Cinderella so much anyway? He's like, she's pretty. Oh, yeah, she is. That's sweet. And you know what? Because of her evil stepmother and wicked stepsisters, she has low self-esteem. We call that a twofer. So I've been doing stand-up comedy for 10 years this month. No joke, it's a true story. 10 years. And early on, I needed all the confidence I could get. I wasn't so great, you know? And I was doing a fundraiser like this one time for an elderly comic. His name was Stan. And it was a cancer research organization called Relay for Life. And I was opening for Stan. And he tells me up front, he's like, no, you cannot make cancer jokes and you cannot swear. I was like, it's perfectly fine by me. Now Stan had survived chemo and come out on the other side stronger and better, etc. The only problem was the MC got the bios mixed up. And they said, now please welcome your opening act, cancer survivor, Andrew Shank. And I had a shaved head at the time, I was a little bit thinner. And I just like started with my jaw down to my navel, like, where do I go? But you know what I did? I just went through my act, and I did everything like normal, and the beautiful part was all the setups all the punchlines just crushed, killed. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I got the impression that people were like looking around the room like, you know what? This was his dying wish right here. Maybe laugh. It's the right thing to do. I felt bad a year after that. Every time I was being introduced, I was like, can you talk, say I'm a cancer survivor? I had low self-esteem. That's a tough joke. Thanks for laughing. It's tough. Cancer jokes are tough. So like I said, I got kids. I got a daughter. Here's what I found out. When you got kids, they will wreck and destroy like any music you liked growing up. They will trash it. I was dropping my daughter off one time. She was in first grade. I was dropping her off at school. AC/DC's Thunderstruck is on the radio. I'm just like pounding. It's such a great stomping song, you know? And she's cackling in the back seat, just losing it. I was like, what? What's so funny? And she said, he sounds like Donald Duck. Damn it. He does. That sucks. I can't hear AC/DC anymore, you know? Can't hear Shook Me All Night Long without picturing Donald, Daisy, and feathers flying everywhere. Yeah? Can't hear Highway to Hell without picturing a duck on a rotisserie. It's horrible. They had a trending hashtag recently on Twitter. It was called Growing Up in Oklahoma. This is the one thing I did not memorize, so if you will bear with me. These are my thoughts on growing up in Oklahoma, all right? If you ever felt confused by a sidewalk or a bicycle, what the hell is that for? Growing up in Oklahoma, if you ever wondered what kind of sex Oral Roberts was into, I confused him with Anal Roberts. Excuse me. Growing up in Oklahoma, if the allergies don't make you cry, the sports teams will. Kevin fucking Durant. Growing up in Oklahoma is when you go to church, you see someone with a camouflage cover on their Bible. And you're in the deer stand smelling like deer urine, you gotta read God's word. Amen. Growing up in Oklahoma is where the beer rate, growing up in Oklahoma is where the beer strength is almost as strong as the... Damn it! Where the literacy rate is almost as strong as the beer. Guess who's had a few? Serves me right for bashing Oklahoma. Growing up in Oklahoma is when you go to a movie and they stop the screening because of a tornado warning outside while watching Twister. True story. Not me, I'm sure it happened to someone. Growing up in Oklahoma is when you go to the state fair and you see folks that make you question evolution and intelligent design. Is that too true? You know what I love? I'm from Oklahoma City primarily, and the cool thing is we got airports named after men that died in a plane crash. Will Rogers World Airport and Wiley Post. Man, it's like Winchester releasing a Kurt Cobain model. It's a little black, I'm sorry. Autographed by Courtney Love. The Seattle estate, you know, gift shop. So I've been married for 13 years. I just celebrated our anniversary, so I'll pause. Pause for effect. My wife, you know, we've been married so long, she still gets a little anxious though. She asked me the other day if I'd ever trade her in for a newer model. I was like, no. I'd be way too far upside down. I can't afford the monthly payments now, all right? Monkey wrench like that, you know? I don't understand the metaphor. Trading her in for a newer model? It's like when you drive it off the lot, loses half its value. Wedding night. Hey, I worry in like 15, 20 years when she hits menopause and the check engine light comes on. I won't be able to go anywhere without her overheating. Ma'am, I'm not looking at you on purpose. It's like magnets. I don't know what the hell. At least she knows I'd never trade her in for a dude, though, because I don't drive stick. I don't do my my love life any favors, because I'm a wise ass, My wife says I can spoil a romantic mood, that I don't have a romantic bone in my body. I'm like, whoa, we just have different ideas on what is and is not a romantic bone. Wink, nudge. Don't you hate getting the hiccups during sex? That always sucks, Because I always worry it'll wake her up. Bill Cosby wrecked that joke. Jerk. So anyway, she was actually in the mood with me recently, right? The kids are in bed. She's like, hey, why don't we play house later? I was like, all right, you got it. I'll be the daddy if you'll be the babysitter. Where are you going? All right, I'll sleep on the couch. I guess what really bugged her is her mom usually babysits. Oh, I meant a hot 18-year-old. Take it the wrong way. I don't know. Take it some way, not that way. I'm lucky I don't have to date anymore because I was not very good at it. I really had troubles with it. And I had a roommate at the time, and he tried to give me advice. He'd be like, Andrew, there's plenty of fish in the sea. And I was like, wait a second, that metaphor doesn't work, right? You never go into work after the weekend. Hey, how'd it go at the clubs this past week? Oh, it was great, man. I went out, and I landed a 400-pounder. She broke my water bag. My pole, too. That's fair enough. You don't need to laugh that hard. I sucked at dating. I really had no game, period. One time I was at a Motley Crue concert. I was chatting up this chick, and I was like, hey there, I like your tattoo. Is that Mandarin or something? And, oh, it's a bruise. I like your bruise. It looks really nice on your neck. Had no game. I'd be at a party, I'd be trying to flirt, be at the snack table, and be like, hey, I like my women like I like my salsa. She's like, what, hot and spicy? I said, no, chunky. Well, she's like, that's funny. I like my men like I like my chips. I said, what, corny? Broken. Didn't work. This is just a random one, all right? You ever wonder if Lois Lane ever had questions about Clark Kent's abilities in the bedroom because he was from Smallville? He'd be like, I'm the Man of Steel. Yeah, and the Flash said he could go all night. Fair enough. Fair enough. So this happened a while back. I have 3 kids. This is the one I only had 2 kids. I had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they were just squabbling like crazy at Target, And just some random stranger lady, she goes, now I remember why I stopped at 1. Why, because you drowned her in the bathtub? That was when I met Casey Anthony. What? I don't name drop every celebrity I meet. That was mean. Honestly, you want to know the truth? I just wrote that before this second show with another comic. So blame her when she comes up here. I'll point her out to you. Nah, that's not cool. So I grew up here in Oklahoma. Like I said, I'm an Okie. And I grew up in a pretty traditional conservative household. Had a mother who would censor movies before us kids. She would watch them first, then watch them again with us, and she'd try to mute the bad language whenever it appeared. The only problem was she would fall asleep in a recliner. She'd miss stuff. So one day we were watching The Great Outdoors, and Dan Aykroyd's character said asshole, and my mom wakes up and hits mute. It was like too late. Damage done. And the beautiful part was her reaction. She went, shit. I don't know, it was like a word association game. I don't know. I'm glad she didn't wake up and say something random, like, oh, chapstick. That'd been even weirder. So I grew up here in Oklahoma, like I said, and I went to a Baptist church. Went to a church with a guy who was like kind of a redneck, and he had no filter. He felt like if he was offending people, he was doing the Lord's work. One of those guys. And for example, one time he was preaching on women needing to dress modestly in public. He was like, I was at the grocery store, and I saw this fat woman wearing spandex. When she walked, it looked like 2 hogs fighting. over cottage cheese. And then it dawned on me, I need to get some bacon. Now, folks, I don't want you to miss what I'm saying. You're like, what the hell are you saying? Which Bible verse did you pull that out of your ass from? The first or second, dickhead? You know? He was a jerk. He was hung up on vices too, you know, if you're like struggling. He's like, what you need to do is you need to pray about it. Struggling with the cigarettes, say, Lord, please bless this please bless this Camel cigarette to my lungs, and may I bark up a glorious phlegm ball for your glory. Lord, I pray you bless this 6-pack of beer to my belly, and you be honored when I throw my wife over the sofa. He was one of those guys that bragged about his, you know, sinner life, you know? It was like, before I got saved, I was a whoring, gambling, drinking, honky-tonkin', lost sinner of a reprobate. If I had died, I'd have split hell wide open. Like, whoa! What are you doing, cannonballs? You know? How the hell would you split hell wide open, you know? I don't know. So, yeah, I went on YouTube recently just to catch up with the old guy, see what he was saying these days, see if anything's changed. No, nothing's changed. It was beautiful. I clicked on the link, you know, he's like, I'm just gonna get down to business. How many of you folks out there on the Twitter? How many of y'all been reading the Twitter but not your Bible? Uh-oh, that's the sound of toes being stepped on. Say, I don't care what Katy Perry ate for breakfast. I care that Jesus Christ fed 5,000 with a couple fish and a few loaves of bread, amen. By the way, if you got answer you need a question to or something like that, you need to go to the B-I-B-L-E, not the Google. And what is a selfie? I hear folks talk about taking a selfie. When I was a soldier in Laos, a selfie is what we did when we couldn't find a prostitute. He was a very godly man. Indeed. Be like Christmas time, people coming to church that don't normally, you know, he's like an insult comic. Get up there and be like, I don't know if it's Christmas or Halloween, because I see a lot of folks out there dressing up like they're Christians. So, let's see, I got 3 kids, we're done, 3 and out, football phrase, if you will. And here's something interesting. We were at church one day, me and my wife, we're done, and we had an older lady walk up to her, and she rubbed her stomach and says, hey, you're not pregnant again, are you there, you old fertile myrtle? Right? And I laughed, and I got hit in the ribs for what this lady said, right? And it got me thinking, you know, what if people were like really reckless and cavalier if you're struggling to get pregnant? That'd be strange, right? Hey, sterile Cheryl! Are you still barren down below? Is that womb still a wasteland of lost dreams? If I stick my ear up to your stomach, I hear the tumbleweeds hitting the cactus. I forgot, it's not you, it's shooting blank Frank, isn't it? Where is old chitty chitty blank blank? So I came of age in the 90s, that's when I had teen years and stuff, and I loved 90s rock bands quite a bit. That was like my bread. But anyone else grew up in the 90s? Black people, that's alright, I'm gonna do this bit anyway. And I don't wanna get, you know, ignorant on, you know, there were some bad bands, you know, we had Creed, Marilyn Manson, right? People don't know this actually, if you listen to Marilyn Manson backwards, it still sucks. You like Marilyn Manson? No. I'm just stereotyping because you have long hair. You look like you could wear mascara, actually. Sorry. I'm cool. So anyway, I like 90s rock bands. It's like a buffet of good music because literally the bands have food in their name. There's a lot of food bands. So I was putting a playlist together recently. It made me hungry. And so here's how it would go down. I would sit down on my silver chair. And I would spread some Pearl Jam or cranberry sauce over my Limp Biscuits. Down it with a shot of Everclear. Not enough to leave an order a gin blossom. No. And then I would nibble on some corn chips with a K, red hot chili pepper salsa, leaving me with flaming lips. And then I would gorge on some Veruca salted space hog pork, maybe even some meat puppets on my skewered 9-inch nails. Then I'd open my cake hole and shove in some smashing pumpkin pie. All that collective soul food would leave me reaching nirvana. Wasn't that sublime? She's like, no, that was garbage. Hey, you know what? Wordplay does not get any better than that. All right. So yeah, like any good parent, I force-feed my kids the music I listened to growing up, the 90s stuff. And I didn't realize how dark and depressing the lyrics were until I heard my kids singing it one day. They're in the back playing with their Legos, you know? 7-year-olds singing, I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? And then his brother was not to be outdone. He's like, everybody hurts sometimes. Damn it, kids, don't sing that in public. DHS will take you away. And I'm raising you in a concentration camp or something. I don't know. All right, last joke. I saw this on YouTube recently. There is a clip of someone printing off the sheet music from Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and they fed it through a 100-year-old fairground organ, one of those and it's really cool. I recommend you go check it out sometime. And it got me thinking, like, how awesome it would be if you printed off Taylor Swift's music and fed it through a paper shredder.